It's Friday, and you know what that means. The Hudson Media Group proudly brings you the latest edition of Talking Politics. And I'm the generational talent in Garden State Media and your leader in trustworthy journalism. That's right, folks. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Happy December. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. My Dallas Cowboys with back-to-back wins against the Eagles and Chiefs and back in the NFC playoff race. So, again, a lot to be thankful for. But, of course, folks, a lot to be thankful for overall, not just the health of myself, but my family, all my loved ones, and I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving too. It is December, folks. Again, it's one of those end of the year type of conversations, so let's get to it. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get started. Here's what I'm thinking about right now. Yes, folks, and I want to thank John Highness, fellow Rutgers alumnus, a member of the Pinnacle in Hudson County, and of course, the distinguished editor-in-chief of the Hudson County View for his reporting on this, well, what I think is a very silly story. Now, to no one's surprise, the city of Hoboken earned a perfect score for LGBTQ plus equality from the Human Rights Campaign Foundation and the Municipal Equality Index for the 8th consecutive year. According to Mayor Ravi Bala and Assemblyman-elect in the 32nd Legislative District, quote, as gender-affirming care, same-sex marriage, and workplace protections continue to be attacked on the federal level, it has never been more critical to continue to stand firm in our beliefs to uplift and protect our LGBTQ plus community members. Hoboken has been and will remain a community that believes in inclusivity, and we have put the policies in place to do so. I thank the Human Rights Campaign Foundation for recognizing our efforts and for continuing the mission to push for equality across the country. Now, this year, a record-breaking 130 cities, or over 25% of all MEI-rated cities, earned the highest score of 100, suggesting that LGBTQ plus equality is making significant strides at the local level, establishing a warrant for continued work to advance equality at the national level. According to the Hoboken Pride Advisory Committee Chair, Catherine Williams, quote, we are thrilled by Hoboken's perfect score. It reflects the continued dedication of elected leaders and community members to ensuring that Hoboken is a safe and welcoming city for everyone, which is more important than ever as basic human rights for LGBTQ plus Americans remains under threat. Now, the MEI provides a public snapshot of how cities advance LGBTQ plus equality and a framework for elected officials and municipal administrators across the country, outlining impactful steps that they can take to protect their LGBTQ residents and staff. According to Hoboken LGBTQ plus community liaison Laura Niddle, for over a decade, Hoboken has built a community rooted in inclusivity where respect and understanding grow, even though challenging conversations exist. This year, our commitment to protecting and uplifting our LGBTQ plus neighbors, especially transgender families, Jesus Christ, has earned us a 100% score from the Human Rights Campaign. Hoboken has become a refuge for many, including those with transgender family members who have moved here seeking safety and dignity, and we stand with them today and always. While we mourn the over 25 transgender lives lost to violence or suicide this year alone, our resolve grows stronger and our love for each other remains unwavering. Folks, who cares? Honestly, with all the problems in Hoboken, this is what the Bala administration for 8 years has focused on. Now, certainly, the new mayor in Hoboken has a lot of work to do. And I would argue that, let's be honest, folks, one of the, maintaining this streak shouldn't be on the priority list. Now, I get it. Ravi Bala has been the champion of virtue signaling in the Mile Square City. Whether it's repainting the crosswalks during Pride Month, whether it's using taxpayer dollars for drag queen story time at the Hoboken Public Library, or other virtue signaling throughout the calendar year, folks, Hoboken has indeed become that haven for the alphabet mob. Now, I've talked about this on this show repeatedly, but it bears, again, repetition. In a city like Hoboken, once again, where crime is on the rise, we're seeing people getting assaulted at night. Women are nervous to walk home from bars or grocery shopping. Nannies are afraid to take the children that they watch over to public parks. Homelessness is on the rise. Public drunkenness is on the rise with that same homeless population. But again, you would think that Ravi Bala and the administration would be more concerned about that. No, folks. Whether it's been Ravi Bala and his minions, Councilwoman Emily Jabor, the prom queen, as we all know, the charisma vacuum, as we've all lovingly gotten to know him as, Phil Cohen, Okay. And by the way, folks, if you've ever seen Phil Cohen, make sure you're never, ever stuck in an elevator with Phil Cohen. I mean, with the size of that nose, I mean, he could literally deprive you of the necessary oxygen to stay alive if you're ever stuck in an elevator. Or the other, Mr. Personality, Jim Doyle, or the party boy, or the guy you should make sure that if there's a liquor cabinet open anywhere nearby, you should keep it closed. And I'm talking about Joe Quintero. But folks, these are the elected officials. This is the administration in Hoboken that has felt that acquiescing to the alphabet mob and all their bullshit somehow has made Hoboken a better place to live. I don't know for who. Yeah, maybe for queer people and lesbians and gay and transgender, the mentally ill, of course, or whatever else the acronym includes. I mean, yeah, if folks, if you want to die on that hill, God bless you. But it's not making Hoboken a better place to live or a safer place to live. Okay. Cops aren't being, I guess, instructed to do their jobs as they should be. Because again, when you have liberal policies in blue cities, folks, it's no wonder blue cities continue to go to shit. You can look at Hoboken as an example. You could thank Ravi Bala for that. Now, thankfully, Ravi Bala's term has come to an end, but unfortunately, he'll be serving the 32nd Legislative District in Trenton as an assemblyman. God only knows what bills he'll introduce on the floor of the state assembly once he takes office in January. But folks, again, and to quote the late, great Charlie Kirk, this shouldn't be high on any priority list, especially in a city like Hoboken where affordability remains a serious issue. Property taxes are as high as they've ever been. Flooding remains a problem. But don't worry, they'll open 3 more dog parks in the next 4 months because, hey. Again, folks, nothing against pet owners. I mean, I'm not a pet guy. I don't really care for dogs or cats. I'm not a pet person. That's just not who I am. But in a city like Hoboken with the plethora of problems, you would think that, some things take priority. But not in the Mouse Square City, folks. Pandering and acquiescing to the Human Rights Campaign or other woke organizations seems to be, I guess, on the agenda for the day. And we'll find out if Hoboken ever recovers from this. And that remains to be seen. But I'll continue to say it, folks. And at the end of the day, when we're talking about what needs to improve in Hoboken, folks, this isn't one of those things. Parking remains a serious issue. Developers have continued to run wild in the city of Hoboken. Don't believe me? Just walk along Sinatra Drive. Walk along the west side by where the light rail stations are located, right on 2nd Street. Even on the most basic of rainy days, never mind a torrential downpour, but even the most basic of rainy days, you would think that the last 8 years that the administration would have focused on infrastructure and somehow trying to make sure that Hoboken doesn't become a flood zone. But no, folks, that hasn't been in the agenda for Ravi Bala. That hasn't been on the agenda for Emily Jabbour or Joe Quintero, Phil Cohen or Jim Doyle. Or figuring out what to deal with the rat problem that exists in Hoboken. And I don't mean, folks, I'm not talking about the rodents that create a public health hazard to senior citizens and to children. No, I'm talking about the rats at City Hall. All right, giving away no-show jobs, okay, on Washington Street at City Hall. Those are the rats I'm talking about. Those are the rats that are costing taxpayers in Hoboken. But again, that's not high on the agenda. That's not on the priority list in Hoboken. Of course not. Pandering to the alphabet mob seems to be, again, a priority. And by the way, folks, let's be very clear about something. Because, a lot of you online that come at me with all this ridiculous energy, again, I just wish you came at me with that same energy in person when you see me. But none of what I just said makes me a homophobe or a transphobe. No, folks, ladies and gentlemen, a phobia, as defined in Webster's dictionary, is an irrational fear of someone, something, or some concept. I'm not afraid of gay people. I'm not afraid of trans people. I'm not afraid of lesbians or bisexual people. I could care less. Okay? Do I care that mentally ill people and that agenda is trying to infiltrate our public schools and our curriculum for our kids? Sure. Am I concerned that, LGBTQ curriculum is now even trying to be forced on homeschooling? Yeah, that concerns me, of course. And that should concern you as well, folks. But when we think about, again, at the end of the day, is this pandering necessary? No, it's not. It really isn't. But not in Hoboken, folks. The Mile Square City, yeah. Instead of public safety and parking and property taxes, no, pronouns are more important. When it comes to affordability, no, it's about, well, are you asexual? Yeah, folks, priorities are really messed up in Hoboken. So if you're thinking about why Hoboken continues to sink into the abyss and continue to be a shithole, folks, again, that's not being derogatory or racist or whatever. It's not. It's calling balls and strikes fairly. And that's what I do on this show. That's what I've been doing on this show since April of 2019. That's not going to stop anytime soon. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, folks. And that's not always easy. Folks, hearing the truth is not always easy. It's not always meant to sound good or feel good, but you need to hear it. And in Hoboken, for God's sakes, in a time when all the problems exist, and they're going to exist for the new mayor, folks, you would think that at the end of the day, pandering to all this woke bullshit isn't important. It just isn't. And for many on the left, and again, we all know who they are online, the typical social justice clowns, the woke fools, all the obese feminists, all the smelly cat ladies, all the alphabet children. Again, you have a lot to say online. Never say it in person when you see me at events, which is disappointing because I would hope that, with that same energy you have online, that I would think you would bring the smoke in person. But we all know that cowardice seems to permeate a lot more on the left than it does on the right. But in Hoboken, folks, again, yeah, you know what? Good for you. 8 consecutive years pandering to woke bullshit. As Hoboken becomes more expensive to live in and less safer to live in, well, it seems like the priorities in Hoboken continue to be in the shitter. Well, we'll find out if that changes in 2026. Now some local news for your consideration, and a thank you to Tap Into Jersey City, along with one of their great columnists, the Dean of Hudson County Journalism, Al Sullivan, for his reporting on this story. Coming up on December the 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Franklin L. Williams Middle School, which is located at 222 Laidlaw Avenue in Jersey City, the Jersey School District will have a job fair. Now, according to the administration there, quote, "Our schools are vibrant, diverse, and full of energy." A flyer for the job fair was articulating. "We are committed to providing our students with a world-class education, and we need passionate and motivated teachers to help us achieve our goals. According to the officials, the district is looking for teachers in special education, bilingual Spanish, math, elementary graphic arts, high school physical education, high school physics, world languages, and other areas. Of course, full-time, leave replacement, and alternate route positions are also available." So again, folks, mark it on your calendars. Coming up on Sunday, December the 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Franklin L. Williams Middle School, located once again at 222 Laidlaw Avenue in Jersey City. If you're looking for employment and looking to get involved and seek employment in one of the better school districts in all of New Jersey, folks, again, mark it on your calendars. Maybe you can work in the Jersey's public school system starting in 2026. Staying in Jersey City, which is part of the 8th Congressional District, I do want to thank U.S. Representative Rob Menendez for standing up for residents against the ongoing nuisance of helicopter noise. And once again, I want to thank the staff at the Tap Into in Jersey City, Al Sullivan specifically, for his reporting on this story. Now, U.S. Representative Rob Menendez has continued to lead efforts to curb helicopter tourism with his introduction of the Communities Before Air Tourism Act, legislation that will require the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, and the National Park Service, the NPS, to consult with communities under air tour routes before entering into air tour management voluntary agreements with helicopter operators. The representative said, quote, "Residents in our communities shouldn't have to endure the relentless disruption of helicopter air tours, especially around cherished spaces like Liberty State Park, where noise and safety risks continue to plague our region. This legislation puts our communities first by ensuring their voices are heard. We must restore the peace and safety our families deserve." Now, Menendez introduced the legislation alongside U.S. Representative Dan Goldman out of the 10th Congressional District in the state of New York. Under current statute, the FAA and NPS may enter voluntary agreements with air tour operators under a section of law intended to protect national parks, park visitors, and the National Aviation System. However, these agreements do not require consideration of state parks or the residents of impacted communities. Now, the Communities Before Air Tourism Act closes this gap by requiring federal agencies to include affected communities in the decision-making process and by expanding the criteria used to evaluate air tour agreements to account for noise, safety, and quality of life impacts on neighborhoods under that specific route. Several advocacy groups, including Stop the Chop, NY&J, Safe Skies, Hudson County, and Friends of Liberty State Park have applauded the proposal by U.S. Representative Rob Menendez. According to their joint statement, quote, "The extremely loud barrage of helicopter noise from air tourism flights are a severe intrusion into the quality of life experiences of all who come peacefully to enjoy Liberty State Park, the waterfront family park right behind the Statue of Liberty, and Ellis Island," according to Sam Pessin, the president of Friends of Liberty State Park. As Liberty State Park turns 50 years old in June and our nation turns 250 in July of 2026, it uplifts the lives of people of all ages, whether urban residents in this crowded concrete region seeking to enjoy picnics, recreation, and relaxation, or visitors from around our nation are enjoying the spectacular views of the national monuments, the Manhattan skyline, and the harbor. So, folks, I just got to tell you again, sort of following in his dad's footsteps, I remember at one time U.S. Senator Bob Menendez was very much adamant about making sure that the skies were as peaceful as possible for our communities here in Hudson County. He grew up in Hudson County, and so did Rob. So it's a big cause that matters to him. Now, we'll see where it goes in the sense of being passed in the House of Representatives. But certainly, folks, Rob Menendez remains a steadfast ally in making sure that we can enjoy our amenities at Liberty State Park, on the waterfront, and everything really around Ellis Island, and hoping to do so again as we approach the 250th anniversary of our republic coming up in July of 2026. So in any event, folks, all I can tell you is that it's something to keep an eye out for. But once again, shout out to U.S. Representative Rob Menendez for introducing this legislation. Now, I don't always agree with Rob on everything, and I think, I've been intellectually honest and objective on this show. But again, I'll give the guy his flowers. He's introduced a lot of good legislation, and this latest one is just the most recent example of how Rob Menendez remains committed to the 8th Congressional District. Whether he'll have any challengers coming up in the primary season in 2026 remains to be seen. Who knows? Maybe people like Musab Ali and clowns and progressive clowns like him think they have a shot. But folks, let's be honest. If you're calling balls and strikes fairly, Rob Menendez has done the work, and he'll continue to do the work in the 8th Congressional District. Let's move up north into northern Hudson County in the town of West New York. And a thank you to James Los Santos, the editor of HUD-Post, for his reporting on this story. Now, a Facebook post published by the West New York Police Department recently on Sunday, November the 23rd, denied any involvement in a federal arrest on 62nd Street, and that thus ignited a wave of public criticism. Now, as of the writing, the post received 271 likes and 563 comments, with a majority expressing disapproval. Now, in the statement, the West New York Police Department clarified that one of its officers encountered the scene, quote, as the enforcement action was already underway, and, quote, did not assist, participate, or take any action in the incident. Now, the department added that it had not been notified of the operation and contacted HUD-Post to address what it called inaccuracies in the outlet's initial coverage, which HUD-Post promptly corrected the article and marked it with a formal correction notice. Despite the clarification, the department's message drew sharp responses from many users. What a surprise, with the amount of progressives and all the woke fools that always seem to have something to bitch about online. Many of whom questioned the need for a statement at all. Quote, why the press release, wrote Mark Zucchini. Quote, wait till you get all the information, then release a proper press release that has all the details included. Now, several commenters expressed concern that the West New York Police Department was distancing itself from cooperating with other law enforcement agencies. Quote, I would hope you don't tell your officers not to assist another officer if they need help, wrote Frank Fiore. The West New York Police Department replied, they didn't ask for assistance and we were not aware that they were in town. Now, others speculated about the nature of the federal operation. Quote, one of the officers' vests said DEA on it, according to one of the writers. This most likely is in regards to a drug-related crime with the ERO. The department responded, you may be right, we just don't have information on the specifics of their enforcement action. Now, the comment section also reflected deep divisions over immigration enforcement. What else is new, folks? You have a lot of the progressives and all the social justice clowns and woke fools in West New York and throughout Hudson County that seem to always, offer the opportunity to opine on issues like this. DEA and all federal agencies have been deputized to do immigration enforcement, wrote Maya Ponton Arnaf, while others criticize perceived political motivations behind the West New York Police Department's distancing. Quote, nice pandering, one user wrote, while another remarked, you're trying to please the wrong people. Some comments defended the department's restraint, pointing to a lack of a formal request for assistance. Quote, why should the officer have insisted if assistance wasn't needed or requested, according to one of the writers on the HUD Post Facebook page. Well, folks, it's very simple, okay? Certainly a lot of locals, all the progressives, the typical DSA, opiners, the social justice clowns, the woke folks, you name it. The insufferable left in Hudson County will always take the opportunity to complain about whether or not ICE is in our communities. God forbid they're enforcing what's called, federal immigration law. Yeah, maybe you've heard of it in the Constitution where it's under the parameters of the executive branch. Again, for those of you that took high school civics, or maybe even if civics isn't taught anymore, yeah, maybe you have a copy of the Constitution. You might want to read up on it, folks. That's one of the responsibilities of the executive branch within the federal government. But nothing gets people's blood boiling, folks, than talking about immigration enforcement and, of course, whether or not ICE should be in our communities. West New York is no exception. And, of course, folks, if you ever go on the HUD Post Facebook page, Instagram page, or Twitter page, there is no shortage of just insufferable retards that always feel the need to have to opine with the most insufferable bullshit that, again, encompasses all the virtue signaling that they live for. Now, shout out to HUD Post for correcting the article, and shout out for the West New York Police Department providing clarity as well. Now, if they were in town on a drug arrest, good. Get dangerous drugs off the streets. Just like, getting, a prostitution ring and disbanding it that seemed to be prevalent in West New York. Not sure if you saw the mugshots, folks. I mean, those certainly look like some model citizens, especially that girl with the tattoo on her neck. Yikes. Yeah. Ouch. Imagine having to bang that out. My goodness. That's not, you gotta be desperate these days to be doing that, folks. But again, whether it's drug enforcement, prostitution enforcement, shout out to the West New York Police Department for doing their jobs. Now, if federal agencies are in Hudson County, whether it's in West New York, Union City, or wherever, good, they're doing their jobs. That's what we pay them for. And I get it. People want a virtue signal about, ICE and everything else in our communities. Boo effing who. That's what I have to say to all those progressives and all the woke fools that never pass up the opportunity to virtue signal online, whether it's on HuffPost or the other online social media platforms. Because trust me, folks, if there's an opportunity to do that, they'll do that. Because remember, they bitch to live and they live to bitch. But what else is new with progressives in Hudson County? Folks, coming up on Friday night, December the 12th, at the world-famous One Republic in North Arlington is the 2025 edition of the Holiday Happy Hour. Now, joining me this year will be Nikki Kane and Vladimir Carrero. We'll be greeting you at the door, and all we're asking for is one unwrapped toy, and upon arrival and upon receipt of the unwrapped toy, you'll get a drink ticket, courtesy of One Republic in North Arlington. We'll have even Santa on the premises there early in the afternoon from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. taking pictures. And guess what? If you want a picture with Santa, just bring one unwrapped toy, and that's your fee for taking a picture with Santa Claus. But on the actual night itself, we'll be there from 7 p.m. until 12 midnight at One Republic in North Arlington. There's plenty of street parking available and a municipal lot exactly one block right from One Republic. Folks, it's that time of year. And I just have to say that, listen, I've been very fortunate growing up in a working class family where my parents made sure I never had to not have anything on Christmas. And I'm very grateful and I'm very thankful to them because they always made my Christmases as enjoyable as possible. Wherever the newest toy was, my parents were really gracious enough to make sure they spoiled me with it. Wherever the new video game system was, yeah, I was really, really grateful and thankful to them. And I always will be. But a lot of kids don't have that good fortune during this holiday season. And I get it. Times are tough for everybody. Understandable. But any disposable income you do have, do me a favor. Come out to One Republic on Friday night, December the 12th, from 7 p.m. until 12 midnight for the holiday happy hour. Toys will benefit the local communities and will hopefully help kids throughout the holiday season. See if you can even just come bring a toy. And folks, and by the way, we'll also make it worth your while. There'll be plenty of specials, not just with alcohol and drinks, but also food. We'll have $10 sliders, we'll have dollar wings, as well as $3 Jameson shots, $3, I believe, Casamigo shots as well. And folks, there'll be drink specials all throughout the evening. So you know what? If you need an excuse to go out during this holiday season, and let's be honest, folks, you're going to holiday parties anyway, mark on your calendars for Friday night, December the 12th, at the world famous One Republic in North Arlington. And together, we'll make the holidays a happier time for all of our local kids. And trust me, if there's a call you want to believe in, it's this one coming up on Friday night, December the 12th, for Holiday Happy Hour 2025. And folks, this is our last episode here of 2025 as we go into our winter break. And I want to thank all of you that continue to tune in every single week here to the leader in independent media, the Hudson Media Group. I'm ever so grateful to their CEO and my executive producer, Patrick O'Melia, who's been an incredible boss to me since April of 2019 when he decided to take a chance on me. He rolled the dice with Fernando Uribe and he introduced Talking Politics to the Hudson Media Group universe. And I'm forever grateful to him for his belief in my abilities. And despite all the bullshit he's had to endure with everyone complaining in Hudson County and throughout New Jersey, I'm sure, whether it's the local social justice clowns, the woke fools, all these insufferable cat ladies, all these smelly feminists, and the usual, annoying progressives. Yes, folks. And trust me, there's been no shortage of opportunities to try to cancel me. But here's the spoiler. I'm not going anywhere. Whether it's this brand or Real Talk with Fernando Uribe on Monday nights via Jersey First TV. Again, folks, there's a reason why I'm the generational talent and the leader in trustworthy journalism. I know for many on the left in Hudson County, that's a big pill to swallow. But then again, a lot of you swallow things on a regular basis, but that's a conversation for another day. But let's be honest, folks. There's been no shortage of attempts to try to cancel Fernando Uribe. And guess what? I'm still here. That's a testament to the devotion all of you have to keep tuning in every single week here. And that's why I work so hard for all of you to talk about the issues that matter to you. Not woke bullshit and all the virtue signaling that, maybe still permeates in our political climate. No, folks, I talk about real issues and have real conversations and have about real topics because it matters to all of you. Because that's who I work hard for. And I'll continue working hard for you as I did in 2025. And I continue working hard for you in 2026. So I love you all. Thank you all for sticking with me, for standing by Talking Politics with the Hudson Media Group. And most importantly, for all of you that try to cancel me, you've been trying for a few years. Keep trying because here's a spoiler. I'm not going anywhere. You'll have to deal with me for the foreseeable future. So buckle up, folks. I'm going to double down, maybe even triple or quadruple down. If you think I was insufferable in 2025, folks, I'll be an even bigger asshole to you in 2026. And that's it for our final show of 2025, folks, here as we head into winter break. Again, to check out all of the great content brought to you by the leader in independent media here in Hudson County. It's the Hudson Media Group. Make sure you like them on Facebook. Of course, follow them on Instagram and X. And also subscribe to them on YouTube. You can check out all the great programming that they bring you, whether it's Hudson County View Live with John R. Highness, Stick at Night with Hudson County Commissioner Anthony Romano, as well as all the great programming brought to you by Greta Hernandez and North Bergen High School. Folks, I can't say enough about the support you bring us and what it means to us here as we'll continue being the leader in independent media here in Hudson County. Once again, folks, Merry Christmas to all of you. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivus. And of course, enjoy the holiday season. Please party responsibly. And again, I want to thank you all for making Talking Politics a part of your regular viewing on all of your social media platforms. Always remember, it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid. It's Talking Politics right here with the Hudson Media Group. And yes, I'll continue to be the generational talent in Garden State media and the leader in trustworthy journalism. That's right, folks. It's me, Fernando Uribe. Once again, Merry Christmas. Happy Festivus. Happy Hanukkah. Enjoy the holiday season. And folks, we'll see you in 2026. That's right. I'm Fernando Uribe. Take care of yourselves. And always remember, stay classy, everyone.